Welcome, everybody, to the 40 in Tennessee podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, here with Randy in Houston on this lovely night. We're all, I feel fucking tired, too. I'm all worn out.
Yeah.
I actually just wrapped up watching a documentary. I watched two, actually. I had dinner, and I knew the podcast was coming up. I'm like, I'm going to throw something weird on. One was something about Nostradamus. It was just like a 45, like it ended and I was like, is this a series or is this a, the other one was The Underground, which I've watched before. I don't know if you've seen this one. It's on Amazon Prime. It's about Phil Spencer.
Oh man.
It's about
Yeah.
they'll say Underground is about
Dulce.
Dumbs. Yeah.
His name's Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
Okay, the only,
Like I
only
know,
guy I know, like
the
the
other Phil
CEO of Xbox.
Yeah,
Like I don't know.
the other, there's that Phil Spencer. And it's about deep underground military bases and like government spending, but they go into like his story where he was like he's like a geologist and a structural engineer. And for like they were building a base in the mountains of Dulce, and they sent him down because they kept, as they were drilling, the machinery kept getting broken, so they sent him down like in a basket. This is his story.
Yeah.
In a basket, and he went down there, and he said there was 2 7-foot tall grays that he shot both of them, and then one of them blasted him with a beam, and that like messed him up. And then I guess a Green Beret came down in another basket and saved his life, but also died. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
It's a crazy story. Yeah.
It's a crazy story, but the rest of the documentary is about like the black operations and like where are they spending this money and stuff like that, for like military stuff. Because there's a whole like the talks around there must be a big shelter under like the Denver airport, like
Yeah.
And I mean they have military bases that are underground in the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
I mean there's photos of it and stuff, which those blow my mind. I'm like, those are dwarven fortresses,
Yeah. What is
Going
it,
into
Raven Rock?
Skyrim.
Raven Rock's one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the Skyrim like underground? Like there's memes of it where like you try to open up a door and then you're just in the Dwarven Kingdom of Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like every door goes to that.
I can't say the name. I forget how to say it.
I don't
The
even
dwarves
remember.
in there, the Dwembar, or something like that. You're in the Dwembar realm. Yeah, I was watching that, and it's like I hadn't watched it in a while. Made me think about like underground bases and stuff, and then of course we have all the caverns. And didn't you, Randy? I don't know if we've talked about this. You talked about the seismic station.
Yeah.
But didn't you have like a weird encounter where like something, they were following you, but then like all these like vans came out of like a dead end road out of nowhere?
Yeah. Yeah. That was in Irving College. Dry Creek Gulf Road. There's literally nothing at the end of that road. It just goes into the woods. And there's people that live in the woods there. And we were coming down that road, and we were going down to the end of that road because there's a trail that then goes, and 6 miles down that trail is a cabin we used to go camp at. But as we're going down that road and we're about to get to the end of that road where the trail is, 5 of these vans go zooming by. And there is nothing for them to have come from. Like nowhere. And I've often wondered if they came from some kind of,
Yeah, like there was a entrance in the mountain or
somewhere
something
out
like
there. Yeah.
I feel like my face is glowing on here because I'm like so wind burnt. Like I'm just bright red.
Didn't you have a story there, Houston?
I did. I don't know where to start this because I don't know how much you know about it. Have we ever told you a story about there was a certain artifact that we kind of know where it is, but it fell through a building into the basement. Have we talked about that?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So that lets me like we've not talked about it on here then. So Darby, who should be on our last episode,
Mm-hmm.
he again being an archaeologist that's been up there at Cardwell, he knows a lot of people here in town, and like a lot of the, even if you want to call them local historians, one that just love local history around here, like they're really close with Darby and they share all their stories.
Yeah.
Well, one of them told us about, it was a family member that they had, and it was on a nursery, and there's nurseries all out in our area,
Yeah.
selling, trees, stuff like that. Everybody, like when I say nursery, they're like a little kid's nursery, and I'm like, no, this is like,
Orchards.
selling bushes and Japanese maple trees.
Yeah.
Tree
But
farms.
yeah, so I'm trying to think where to, because I got more of the story today, or I guess yesterday. But what we were told was there was an artifact pulled from our local area and was put in this safe in this building. Well, the building is so old that the floor had rotted through and went down and like fell into the basement. Um, do you remember what that artifact was, Randy? Just I want to see if I remember this right.
Was it an effigy of some sort?
I thought it was something that come out of Cardwell, but it wasn't.
Uh,
So we were working, me and my dad were working at this nursery in the last couple of days, and I brought it up. And dude was like, oh yeah. He's like, what it was is he said, it was this piece of rock, and he said on one side of it, he said, it's what's called a map stone. And I'm like, the map stone's up at Cardwell. And he's like, well, this is what the everybody called this. It was a
Is
map
this the
stone.
piece?
And on the other side of it was a Thunderbird. And I said, okay. I was like, well, I've heard that it fell through and all this stuff. And I actually asked, I was like, did it come off at Cardwell? And he's like, no. He said it come out of a cave out of Westwood. And he said that I was there when my dad and Chief White Eagle brought it out.
Whoa.
And he said that so his dad kept this little piece, and he said he ended up having it in, it was a post office. I think it's Morrison because they closed, but he said like it was in a safety deposit box. And he said when they moved it and was like, getting through, he's like, I didn't know that they were closing down for a while. He's like, so when it got back to me, someone had dropped this. And he said, so it split in half. He said, but I put that in that safe. And he said, yes, just after years in termite damage, he said that safe has just fell through. And now it's at the bottom of this basement. And now it's filling up with water. So me and Darby have been talking about, like, we would talk about it for a while. It's like, oh, we got to follow up on that. And then like, we're actually out there, me and my dad, and I'm like bringing it up to this guy. Like he's saying everything that, we were told. And so, yeah, we would love to be able to get that out. And I told him, I was like, dude, I would be happy to do that for free. I was like, just for pictures. I said, just so we can take pictures of it.
Bring it
I
to
will
the
help
con.
you out. Yeah.
Bring it to the convention.
I will go down there and you can lower me in a backhoe. I'll chain it, or
dude, you
chain around that safe. Yeah. But it was funny because kind of side story here. Like he was talking to my dad, and he's because my grandpa used to work there just as like general labor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I've got your grandpa's old car. And I had never even seen this thing. I didn't even know, what it kind of was or nothing. Come to find out, it's one of the same, like you've seen Supernatural, the Impala on there.
Oh, yeah. It's that.
That's what it is. And it's just sitting in this guy's garage. And I'm like, well, if you ever want to sell that, like, let me know.
Dude,
but yeah, I thought that was a
car you guys can go around in.
Yeah, neat little story there that I didn't even know about until the last week.
That's a good one.
So we're
investigating,
working on it. But yeah, he wasn't. I mean, he didn't buy it when I was like, dude, we'll help you. But still,
we'll get the
made a
equipment. We'll
connection.
pump that thing out.
Yeah, that's what Darby said. He was like, dude, we'll pay to pump that out and whatever. Which again, we talked about it in the past, but now it's like, all right, I got to meet you. Like I'm,
yeah,
trying to make a connection here. Hope so.
That's badass. We'll have to keep following up on that one.
Yeah, when he said Mapstone on the back, that was like, okay. Well.
How excited did you get when he started telling you this stuff? Were you like,
honestly, when he said it, I thought he actually misspoke, and I was like, "Are you sure that's what?" Because I was like, "Well, you've heard of the other Mapstone, right?" And he was like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about." So I was like, I hope that it does have something. I mean, it has something on there, but he
Yeah.
referred to it as the mapstone. So
Mm.
I guess I don't want to get too excited. You always say I'm hard to impress. No disappointment here.
So where is this? Where is the? What part of the county is this? Is this nursery where the
I'll tell you
stone
later.
is?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah, he ain't giving up his spot.
Yeah. Well, I would hate
Yeah.
I'll tell you later.
No, it's good. It's better. Yeah.
Yeah, we just beep it out.
Yeah.
The Bell Witch. How about we want to get into the Bell Witch then?
We can try.
You can try.
We can try.
Have you guys been there?
I've been to the.
I've been there once to the cave. The only reason I've been to the cave though is because my friend's mom happened to live next door to it, and we popped in there once when we were going through up above Nashville and Adams, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And as we were going down like the road to his mother's house, there's signs that are like Bell Witch Cave. And it's like, we're going towards the Bell Witch Cave. And he's like, yeah, my mom lives right next to it. So.
Nice. Have you been there, Josh?
No. I've been to it's that haunted house there in Adams. It's supposed to have the Bell Witch in it.
Yeah.
I've driven by that house because they had the supposedly you'd be able to see her in the upstairs window, which is boarded up. It's boarded up because the light would turn on even though there's no power, and people who were driving by would like get into car accidents because they'd be like trying to see the see the witch. So they boarded up all the windows, and it's just kind of sitting there. But I've been to that house because it was so close by. It's like I went to the fucking Hopkinsville Goblin house because I was right next to Hopkinsville when I was down in Clarksville.
Yeah.
I do have one quick story I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
If I haven't told you this. Gandalf, right here.
Okay, I love where this story's starting with.
I got this toy, man, probably when like the Fellowship came out. So what was that, like 2001?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His hand has like some electrical nodes on there, and there's a battery somewhere that you plug in. I have never put a battery in this thing, and his staff has lit up before, and I don't know what that was about, but I thought that was super cool that I've never put batteries in there, and it turned on one time. So I don't know what
you did.
Radio waves or whatever were going through there, but yeah, it had like a green glow for a little bit. But
maybe that it was telling you something. Maybe paranormal.
I just like when you said that when it has no electricity, I was like, I gotta tell this story because I had the figure right next to me. So
weird stuff.
Some poor ghost was putting his all into lighting that thing up, and just like,
just
that could have been on the ghost thing. Yeah, y'all were all asking. I'm like, I've had nothing happen. My Gandalf toy just has a mind of its own.
I mean, this is kind of another ghost episode talking about the Bell Witch, but like, yeah, the legendary ghost of Tennessee from Adams, Tennessee.
1870 to 1823.
Yeah.
When you go there, how much of like, is it like a tourist attraction? Like, what are you going to?
Oh, what?
It's becoming a tourist attraction.
Oh, is it now? When I was there, it was just like a house on the side of the road you could drive past. But that was before the movie American Haunting?
Yeah,
It was
American
based
Haunting.
on the Bell Witch.
Yeah.
Which is
well, yeah,
cool
the haunt
fucking
industry.
movie.
And when I say the haunt industry, I don't mean I mean like the ghost hunting industry. They go down there a lot now to the Bell Witch Cave.
So let's get into how did this ghost come about? What is the history here about her?
No one's entirely sure. My understanding,
just the haunting happened.
I know that John Bell, when he first got the property way back in the 18, I think it was 1815.
Yeah. 1817.
He reported in 1817 that he saw a weird dog-like thing that looked like a mix between a dog and a big rabbit. And he took aim at it and shot at it and missed it. And it scampered away or whatever. But it was weird enough that he brought it up to his family that he saw this thing on the property. And soon thereafter, they started having this weird haunting activity there at his house. And it started with his daughter. I don't remember her name. But she was the one that really the Bell Witch took
She was the one who was always getting attacked.
Disliking to, yeah.
Isn't this the only ghost that's been like reported to kill somebody? Isn't that was like the big thing about American Haunting, was that at the end they were like, this is the only like death that has been attributed to a ghost.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. John Bell, yeah.
So this spirit just kind of appeared when they like settled that spot. That's weird. It kind of reminds me of like the Skinwalker Ranch, like legend too.
Me too.
With that family, like to show up.
There's a lot of similarities, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because
like there was some weird stuff where people would hear this disembodied voice, like they would carry on conversations with it, not just hearing it, but like they would carry on conversations with it, and it said things like that it was trapped between heaven and hell, and
it would quote like scripture to them, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, they would get into Bible scripture and like trying to get this thing to drive this thing away, and it would quote Bible scripture back at them.
What a savage. Well, I mean, what Darby said on the last podcast, like the cave entrance is that liminal space that's like between both the light and the dark, the ups, the material plane. Yeah, the in between. So he just found this cave. I wonder what this dog looked like. That he said it was a weird looking dog.
He said it looked like a dog and a rabbit.
The cave was on his land, though, correct?
If I'm not mistaken, it was on his land, yeah. And the theory or the mythology about it is that there was a woman who kind of got swindled out of her land next door, and she blamed John Bell. This is Kate. I can't remember her last name, but this is where you'll hear them refer to the Bell Witch as Old Kate, and it's because there's that Kate was basically taking revenge on John Bell for this land grab that he got.
Jeez. And this haunting went on for years too, till 1821.
So it actually disliked the daughter? Because I thought it was the opposite. But it's been a long time since that was another one that I had a book on that I must have just given away. Because, I mean, I've read actual, I guess, literature and stuff on it. But because there were people coming to, like, speak with this thing. Like, people from out of town would come to, like, actually hear this.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my ancestors, well, somewhat ancestor, Andrew Jackson, before he became president. I think it was before he became president.
He went to the Bell Witch?
I think it was right before he became president. He traveled. He heard about it in Nashville. Traveled from Nashville up to Adams, Tennessee, and purportedly claimed that about 2 miles outside of Adams, the Bell Witch greeted him in his carriage and basically like welcomed him and all this kind of stuff.
What the?
And yeah,
I do want to say, like, that is, I don't want to say, like, do we know that for a fact? I guess is what I'm trying to say, because I thought that
I just know it's part of the story.
That is part of the story. I think some people have questioned that, but I've always heard that as well. But I think some people are kind of like, we don't know how true that is. I don't know if you can go to the Hermitage and ask that question.
Should ask. Hey.
They do
the Hermitage is pretty haunted.
Yeah. Me and Caleb went there. They have like Edgar Allan Poe and what's the other one? Is there a guy that does Sleepy Hollow? I'm always looking over here at my bookcase because I'm like always referencing that.
It says here also the spirit offered diverse explanations why, tying its origin to the disturbance of a Native American burial mound located on the property, and sent Drew Bell and Bennett Porter on an unproductive search for buried treasure. So this thing sent them on a wild goose chase out in the woods. But the emergence of yeah, it was just trolling them. Full conversation spirit repeated word for word 2 sermons given 13 miles apart at the same time. The origin of the disturbance came the disturbance of a Native American burial mound, and then Drew Bell and Bennett Porter went on a buried treasure hunt on the property for a good amount of time and never found anything. So it's like just sent him out to go look for stuff. Now it's becoming a tourist attraction.
Kind of, yeah. Sort of.
Just kind of go into the cave.
Yeah, people go there, and the cave's not that. I mean, I don't mean to belittle it or anything, but it's not that impressive. It's just if you've been in several caves, as far as caves go, it's not very impressive.
Okay.
I'm kind of spoiled on caves, honestly, but
just send Gato in there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Drink Gato. We said your name. Yeah, there isn't too much like history. Like there's a lot of just legend.
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
Except, I mean, there's a lot of actual encounters that were recorded from the time. Dang.
We need to have Dewey Edwards on here at some point.
He
wrote a whole book on Bell Witch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he just did a book on the Hopkinsville Goblins. Yeah.
He did. 10 hours of hell is what it's called.
10 hours of hell. I was watching there's a show on Hulu called Hellier. It's a wild documentary, but guys get a email and it shows like a footprint and basically talking about there's these creatures in the town. It's town of Hellier. And but they go into the history of like what happens at Hopkinsville.
Oh, nice.
They did like a big section of the documentary about that because they were like, oh, this seems very similar to, you know, what the family reported when they had a massive shootout with what they described looked like gremlins attacking.
I've got one of his here, Eye in the Sky. I think that's about more alien encounters, isn't it?
Yeah. I believe so, yeah.
He's making some good books. What else, guys? What else can we talk about here? I thought this would be a little bit more.
What do we know actually about his death? Because again, it was like attributed that it was the witch that killed him.
I'm not really finding anything. There's a point that says he got about this time John Bell began experiencing paralysis in his mouth.
I think it claimed that it was going to kill him. Is that not?
Yeah.
Like it told them that someone
was going to die. It kept claiming. I think someone was. I don't know if that's just from the movie. I remember watching the movie. I went and saw that in theaters when it came out. I was like hyped about it.
Were you stationed down here when the movie came out?
I think I was. I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, in 1817, Bell contracted a mysterious affliction that worsened over the next 3 years, ultimately leading to his death. According to the story, the Bell Witch took pleasure in tormenting him during his affliction, finally poisoning him one December morning as he lay unconscious after suffering a number of violent seizures.
Hmm.
So she was like, whatever this thing was they were speaking to was taking credit for him,
For
what
his
he
death.
was going through. Yes.
For his malady, yeah.
And the witch became known far and wide, and even Andrew Jackson visited the Bell household in 1819 to experience the witch at first hand.
Imagine if it just slapped the shit out of him.
It deserved it.
It's like in the movie. The movie came out in 2005, so I was in Korea or something. I don't actually know. I think I had just gotten stationed down. Might have been just getting down here when it came out, because I think I saw it down in Tennessee, and that's why I was
Yeah.
kind of excited about it, because it was like, oh, it's right over here. Yeah, I remember in that movie, like the girl gets like picked up by her hair and just slapped around by this ghost. It's pretty
Yeah.
unnerving because you don't, just getting hit by something you can't see.
The page that I'm on, it says that it describes it as a goblin-like entity that came to be known as either the Bell Witch or Kate Bates Witch.
Kate.
After
Yep.
Kate
Well,
Old
Bates.
Kate.
Cade
Yep.
Bates.
The entity then began attacking family members and even visitors to the house, and began haunting the community.
Oh, so it was doing stuff to the community as well.
Again, that's what this is claiming.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
this is like so long ago. It's like
Yeah, I mean, it was 200 years ago,
yeah.
over 200 years ago. That's crazy to think about.
Now the ghost hunting scene. Now they've been there a bunch. Has there been? I don't think I've ever seen. I think if I've seen something like a documentary on it where it's just kind of mentioned, it's never like they tell the history. They never tell the. It's not like people have gone and stayed there. Have people gone and like? People.
Oh, they have a thing every year called I think it's called Kate Fest, and it's like a Bell Witch. It's a Bell Witch
Festival.
event. They do all weekend long.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's called Kate Fest.
I'd be down to that.
Kate Fest. Okay.
That's on the bucket list. I never travel out west.
Bell Witch Festival?
Bell Witch Fall Festival, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Adams, Tennessee. The authentic story of the Bell Witch. Oh, looks pretty cool. That looks like a good time.
Yeah, it's the Bell Witch story is weird because, again, it is more stories that have came out of it,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, we don't know what's true. Like, I mean, me and Randy talked the other day where it's like there was a house around here, and he would have to tell you the story, but like they called it the Bell Witch House.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, why do they
Yeah,
call
the
it
reason they
that?
called it the Bell Witch House though was because of one of the guys that owned the house, if not the guy that built the house. I can't remember, but if the guy that built the house, the guy that owned the house way back in the day, wrote a uh, concerto that was called the Bell Witch Concerto, and like for opera or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a big deal here regionally in the local area.
Oh.
But now, as you drive by it, and it looks all boarded up and old, like it's over 100 years old. That's where the stories morph,
Yeah.
and like you get different tall tales.
Yeah,
Like you hear the one
yeah,
where
I've heard.
you like turn the lights off and you say Bell Witch 3 times or whatever. I mean, like you hear that stuff.
Yeah, it's
It's just
Bloody
kind of
Mary except with the Bell
Yeah,
Witch.
it's Bell Witch. Oh,
Yeah,
that's funny. I mean, I'm up here right next to. I don't got Sasquatch, but I got lots of ghosts. I'm right next to Salem, Massachusetts, so.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I've gone over there a bunch. I know a few people who do like the ghost tours and stuff, and I remember one of them told me there is an unaired episode of Ghost Hunters. They went to Salem, Mass. So the place at the time was being used as like an office building, and it's right. Actually, I'm not gonna say where it is. It used to be like an old bank, and it's been like sold and redone and stuff. But there was at the time, I think it was a bar when Ghost Hunters came in, and from what I was told, because they took in like Ghost Hunters would always bring like the local team in to be like help them out with it. They were warned not to like by the local team, like maybe not do this, like maybe like this thing can get kind of wild, we've been hearing. So I guess the episode is not aired. It got so intense Ghost Hunters left before the fucking night was over because like the cash registers were just flying open and stuff. Like the local team was like, it was the scariest thing.
I would love to be a part of that though.
The ghosts freak me out, man. I don't know why. I can't see them. Like that's or if I do, it's gonna be like I think movies have done it to me. It's just like I'm waiting for the.
There's only been one recorded death, so statistically, it's not gonna be you.
I think it's always
statistically. There's a lot more. There's a bigger chance of getting Bigfoot. Don't play apparently. So
yeah. The stories the ghost hunters are like, I brought something home with me. Something came home with me. That's what the ones that freak me out.
Hitchhikers, yeah.
And a lot of time for ghost hunters, they're going to like locations that like are abandoned places. Like they're not safe. Like.
Did you guys see? I sent that video the other day, and I think it was fake, but it was still funny about like what was it? Was it the Mayan whistle or something?
Yeah.
Death whistle? Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh no, that was real. Those things are real.
I know those are real, but like I feel like the video themselves, like those guys going down there, like how did they not see the other guys like hiding?
It may have been a setup,
yeah,
probably.
But I definitely want one of those whistles.
Let's go blow one of those out on the mountain in the primary site. See what happens. I remember I was at fucking the first con. We had the first night when we had the guests after the VIP, like the dinner meet and greet with Ron. We were all sitting out in front of the hotel, kind of having a few drinks and just shooting the shit. And Joe Doyle was talking about like, I think it was the fall equinox or whatever, the winter solstice or something. He was gonna do something in a certain location. He's like, I'm gonna put EMP, everything. I'm gonna put like chargers, and I'm gonna at midnight blow the whistle, an Aztec death whistle. And he's like, I'm trying everything. And I'm like, if I go, I'm gonna watch that date because if that's when the servers shut down and everything turns off, I'll know who did it. Like, the simulation shuts off.
Found a hack.
Yeah. Overload the server.
That reminds me, did you guys ever hear of the back in the 80s? There was actually this whistle that would come in Frosted Flakes. Okay.
Yeah.
Random. And you could blow in this whistle into a phone, and the phone would give you unlimited long distance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It blew the right tone, like the perfect hertz or something like that.
Huh.
And they had to recall but these whistles, like you could sometimes find the whistles on eBay for like $100, $200.
Yeah.
Back in the day, not anymore, but I mean.
Yeah,
one of those things, man. Just like explaining to kids, we had to call long distance.
I mean,
yeah.
I remember, having to keep some change on me just to use the payphone, just so I can. But, so
I remember using payphones to collect calls to my D&D group back in the day.
Did you just like leave like a long message, state your name, and you're just like,
yep,
we're meeting at 7.
Like, hey, 8 o'clock, meet us to there.
So have you done like gone on like a ghost hunt like with a team or anything, Randy?
No,
No.
nope.
Hmm.
Which I think we've been like our team has been invited by Kelly Schaefer and her crew.
You never told me this.
I'm sorry.
I would already.
I'm like, you guys should
Josh,
definitely do one.
question:
Yeah.
would you mess with a Ouija board? Yes or no?
Ooh.
Oh, please.
So story.
I've got a story on that too.
So
So
when I talked about again in the ghost episode, I talked about my grandmother's house and growing up there and stuff. So this happened during like Christmas time. I had a cousin who was a little bit older than me, Kira. She got a Ouija board at like the family Christmas, part. I think my mom bought it for her too. My mom was like the cool aunt, She got her a Ouija board. So we went upstairs, and I was like, we should try it. She's like, yeah, absolutely. And we went upstairs. And I got kind of freaked out because I was like, you're moving it. And she's like, I'm not moving it. I'm like, I know I'm not moving it. I'm not like, we were like asking questions of like, is there someone up here? It's like, who are you type deal. I forget like what the answers were. I remember getting freaked out by it, but I do remember now that I've told the story about like, I think my grandmother's house was haunted, and it was. She kind of confirmed it in a weird way. But then I was like, yeah, the Ouija board. Oh my God, I forgot that this happened. Nothing like crazy happened. It just moved, but I kept blaming my cousin for moving it.
yeah.
And she was like, I'm not moving it. And I was like, well, I know I'm not. I kept like doing the lightest touch. And I mean, being like, I am not the one moving this thing. What's your story? What's your encounter with the Ouija board?
Okay, so I used to play the Ouija boards all the time. So that's not a big deal.
By yourself or somebody else?
Me and somebody else always. But we were playing with a Ouija board on Halloween on the Trail of Tears. Had cops show up and actually like pull in. These cops did at
You
one
guys
point.
just sitting
and they're
on
like,
the trail, like
literally, they're like, "What are you guys doing?" Well, there's a fishing off ramp right there on the Trail of Tears in this one certain part. So that's where we were.
mm-hmm.
But these two cop cars pull up and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're just playing with Ouija board." And they're like, "Okay,
You
well,
like,
you guys
want
have
to
a
get
good
in
night."
on this? They're
like, "Well, you guys have a good night," and they left. They're like, "We don't want none of this." But we were playing the Ouija board, and there was like 6 of us on this thing. And I shit you not, you could ask my ex-wife, Isabel's mom, my youngest daughter, Isabel. This thing, basically, we were like, do you want to talk to anybody? And it says yes, and it goes towards the planchette points towards my ex-wife, or she wasn't my wife at the time. Points towards her. And so she's like, what do you want to tell me? And it says August 20th, August 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we're like, what is that? What is August 20th? And it basically, long story short, without getting into all this shit, she's pregnant, or she's going to be pregnant soon, and the baby's going to be born on August 20th. Okay. Yeah, whatever.
Who's moving it?
Shit, you not. 1 month afterwards, we find out that she's pregnant. We go to the doctor. The doctor says the due date is August the 20th.
Get the fuck out of here.
She ends up being born on August the 17th because the doctor took her early because he wanted to leave to go to the Bahamas that weekend. So,
are
you
can ask my
disappointed by that?
ex-wife. She was there playing with the thing. She says it still creeps her out when she thinks about it.
That's weird. That's creepy. Ooh.
So, Josh, when you come down, I've got one.
You got
but
one?
Nobody. Kayla's like, I'm not touching it. Like, I don't.
I will.
Yeah. All I got's Randy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it. Hell yeah.
Get the whole team in on it.
Yeah. Where would we do it at?
Cardwell.
Yes.
On the map zone.
Yeah. Oh. Okay,
Lord.
that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
he got serious now.
Yeah.
Talk about getting, and then you talk about getting busted by the Rangers. How do you explain that shit?
We're just trying to
Oh, we just
commune,
come up
man.
here to, we just come up here to play a Ouija board on the map stone.
All right, we'll do it on the Sphinx then.
That'd be a good one.
That would be actually pretty intimidating.
I just picture Josh crying. I'm not touching it, man. I'm not pushing it.
Getting weird, man. That mountain's weird already. Then it's just like, it's me, Sasquatch.
I've never done that. That would be interesting, playing the Ouija board near Sasquatch, where you know there's Sasquatch at.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know anyone that's ever tried that, using a Ouija board to just try
We're going to start something new.
converse with Sasquatch. There we go. We're doing like Joe Doyle said, just try something new.
You got to switch it up. You got to change position. If anything, it will confuse them. You know? Like, what are they doing?
You're like, what in the hell are they doing with that thing?
You know,
Yeah, we're all screaming.
yeah, well, ah! You're like,
You're
why?
doing it. You're pushing. No, you're doing it.
Yeah, I've always thought that was like, what if, try to do something different with whatever we're fucking dealing with out there, these fucking Squatch. Just to, like, really in my brain is like, how do I confuse them enough that they like come out to check out what I'm doing? I remember for one of the ones I wanted to do was I had this idea. It was like big ass glow sticks, and I just wanted to like chuck them into the woods when we heard them nearby, just to the chance that it throws it back.
Throw firecrackers, or I don't know.
See, now I've thought about that too, but I also don't want to like. I never wanted to
Scare.
do something that was like aggressive.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I never wanted it to be like perceived that we're trying to like harm them in any way.
I mean, they're throwing rocks at you, so.
They are. They have thrown.
I've thrown rocks at them.
Yeah.
So.
Some of those little poppers you get at 4th of July.
I thought about like tripwires that just set off something, you know?
Just Roman candles, just shooting back.
Just shoot them like a Harry Potter wand.
Yeah.
Expecto Patronus.
I mean, that would
Sasquatch.
confuse them.
Well, I know you.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you connected with that? Like how the story? How do you even explain that story to somebody? Like, yeah, so the Sasquatch is running, screaming on flames through the woods. You didn't see that Roman candle coming, did you?
Stupefy. Oh. Always, yeah, you gotta try something new. I mean, ghost hunting's always coming up with something new. They're always trying to come up with a new device. The ghost.
Oh, this reminds me. Speaking of doing something new, have you guys heard of those? God, it's all over the freaking internet, but it's all over YouTube. But like podcasts are doing interviews about it. But it's like the telepathy tapes.
Oh,
what they're talking about, where there's some new study that just came out where they were doing like studies on these nonverbal autistic people.
Oh, yes.
And it turned out that they've got evidence, scientific evidence that they're actually communicating with each other in some kind of freaking level. And
it's creepy.
Yeah, and it's like we're talking about like all the mind speak. Oh, I used the word
telepathy.
Sorry about that.
We'll check it out.
We're using
we'll bleep it.
We were talking about Sasquatch telepathy.
I don't think you guys caught it, but there was one time where Gato was on the podcast. I think it was he's just been on 1 or 2 times.
He's only been on once.
Yeah.
Okay. But like he named where we go. And it was like a 3-second thing where I just put a cat meowing. So like he's talking and you just hear meow.
I heard that.
so you don't know what.
I didn't know that you did that.
Oh,
yeah. Now there's that theory. We went from Bell Witch and we're back to the Wild Man. was that they're also like autistic. Like Sasquatch could be autistic as well. What was that book? That was a book, wasn't it?
It was by Christopher something, man.
What was the
Out
name
of
of that book?
Vermont.
Do you remember the name of the book?
Now I just feel like a bully going out there with these things. Just autistic gorillas out here that we're picking on.
Autistic gorillas.
Well, I mean, like they say that like it must be because of a low population, you know, after years of inbreeding and stuff.
Yeah.
That
would
would
become
like,
a dominant trait.
Yeah. But I think we've talked about this too. Is like the savant Sasquatch theory. Hence why they're like always making arches and stuff, like trying to, like, someone said, building some order or some type of order within the chaos of nature. Oh, I'm trying to think of what the
Christopher Nelson, Christopher something, man. I know it's Christopher something.
I'm trying to remember the title of the book. So that's not even helping me. I'm like, what was the title? I haven't looked too much into like that. I've kind of seen them talking about it. I haven't like listened to anything yet. So
what pops up?
Christopher Noel.
Christopher Noel.
Sasquatch and Autism is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, Christopher Noel. I've talked to him a couple of times.
Oh yeah. In what context were you talking to him?
Just way back in the day, like they would have been before Go and See when I was talking to him. So.
Okay. I mean, with that type of information, when was that study happening? Do you know? Like where did these tapes come from? Where did the telepathy tapes come from? Do we know that? That's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's an entire podcast around it.
Huh.
Called the Telepathy Tapes podcast.
Oh, so its own podcast is the Telepathy Tapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I googled autistic Bigfoot just to see like what would pop up, and it didn't disappoint. People's already making shirts and everything.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You got really excited with it. Really?
I've seen this puzzle piece before. Like it's like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the red.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out this podcast then. I didn't know about this. I've heard people talking about it, but it's just like, oh, I didn't know if there was actually any gravity behind it. You know, I didn't.
Yeah. No, I've listened to. I've not listened. I've listened to a little bit of one of the actual podcasts. You know, Telepathy Tapes, but I've listened to several other podcasts that are basically summing up what the Telepathy Tapes are supposedly about.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll have to check that one out. I have never experienced Sasquatch telepathy. I will say that. I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
Just ask me a question. That's what I'd love. You know what I mean? Please. Think Sasquatch deal with ghosts?
This is going to sound weird, but I've thought about how weird it would be like to be stuck as a ghost in a place where there's Sasquatch.
After
like how nightmarish that would be as a ghost to have to be stuck in a Sasquatch infested place.
Be kind of weird.
I mean, has there ever been any evidence of them like burying their kinfolk or anything like that?
There are people that claim that they have seen Sasquatch burials. Whether or not they're telling the truth or not, I don't know. So Janice Carter claims that she saw as a child. I think she said she was about 12 or 13, but she was, according to what I remember, she was up in a pine tree and she watched these two Sasquatch dig a hole to put a dead baby into. So a dead Sasquatch baby, I should say.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, a lot of. Like you
That
said,
could be a
the
really,
first
really,
con, a lot of the
really
stuff
dark,
that Janice talked
dark
about.
story. If you
Yeah,
don't,
but a lot of Janice's stuff is now becoming like being considered being like, I think she might have been right. A lot of stuff.
I mean, that's what I'm not gonna lie, man. It's wild going back as far as I go back and like remembering a time when like she was a laughing stock, and now there's just so many people that are saying the exact same things that she was saying.
Yeah, it's wild.
So
Comes back around. Yeah, it was cool to get to see her like original printing the book she had, the manual.
50 Years of Bigfoot.
Yeah. She had
I used to have a copy of that.
Yeah, she had it at her table. I was like,
Yeah.
you're like, you know how rare that is?
Dude, those things go for money on Amazon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She's just a sweet lady. She was
is.
nice too.
She's so nice. Her and her kids were great when they came to the convention. I had fun with her. I sat and talked with her a bunch. Gato sat and talked with her a bunch. At the nights at the end of the days of the con, it was.
Yeah. She's going to be a special guest this year, so she should be there.
Yeah.
She wasn't last year, right?
No,
we didn't have her last year. I'm excited that she's coming back though. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that we have like a bigger, more people there that aren't talkers but are known in the community for people to go meet and talk to. Because all our guests, are at their tables and, love talking to the community and everyone that comes by the tables anyways. That was the one thing I saw. People were just like, I got to sit down with MK Davis. I got to sit down with Martin Groves and talk. Daryl Denton, it was meet Hellbent Holler and hang out with them.
Yeah.
Hellbent brought all their cool equipment. I love that. They show me all the cool new toys they get.
They brought a lot the very first year, but they said that a lot of people were starting to pick their stuff up and stuff, so they left all the really, really good stuff at home.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah. I mean, people want to meet them. It's fine. Like, they can have some of their stuff, but, like, really, people are there to see them. Good times.
Yeah.
We got to get a nice, big banner for you for our table there, Randy. Of you from the Hulu original series.
Only if it's the animated thing of me.
You and Gato.
Yeah. As seen on.
You need to change that as your profile picture.
It needs to be your profile picture so bad. That's professionally done.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of flattered that like I got my Bigfoot sighting like animated, which is like something you only see in like
That is cool. Yeah. How was it seeing it animated? Like seeing it actually like play out in front of you the way you've told that.
I mean, it happened nothing like what my actual sighting was.
You were nervous for a long time. Like, I don't know how this is going to turn out, guys.
Yeah.
I remember you talking to me, messaging me about like the contracts and all this stuff, and I'm like, who is this person? I was looking up. I was asking people in my contacts list, like, who is this guy? What has he done? And I had looked up his past work, and it was all like good stuff that he's done. Like it was all like I was like, oh, I've watched that. That's really good. I liked his approach to how he did the documentary. Anyways, like it was really freaking interesting. And it was awesome that your episode also, Janice was on that episode too.
Yeah.
With like the most Janice like intro too. She's like, like, you ready? And she's like, hold on, I gotta check my hair. And she's like, like getting herself ready before she sits down. I like the so when they did the shoot with you, There is a shot of you just like did they sit you on the rocks by the waterfall?
It did. They're like, go sit over there. They got like they went and got all their stuff like set up while I'm sitting there for like 20 minutes.
Like,
And they're just like flagging me down, like stare at us.
yeah, me and Lauren watched it, and when your stuff came up, we were like every time you popped up and they had a scene like that with you and Gato like walking through the woods and stuff. It was like, this is funny. Like it's so wild to see you on this.
Yeah, it was.
Now is it what? Okay, so I got some questions about this. Just a fun wrap up. The red shirts you guys were wearing. Whose choice was that? You both were wearing red shirts.
I guess it was mine because I dressed myself.
Oh, I didn't know if they were like, "Hey, don't wear all black. Put like a red shirt on or something like that." Because Gato was wearing one too.
They did ask us not to wear all black. So
I was like, "Oh, look, they match."
Lord, I didn't even notice that we matched.
You guys match.
God.
It was cool though seeing like footage that like we have taken and stuff being on the show. I was actually surprised they didn't show like the rock being thrown or any of any of that stuff. That was surprising. But it was overall it's a great series. Like all the episodes are amazing. I think they did you dirty though with the whoop.
You think so?
Oh, it cuts to black and then you hear like you go to whoop and you like lose your voice for a second and you have to clear your throat and then you're like woo. I was like, oh, that's dirty. They did that to him.
Couldn't even give me a good whoop.
That was but I mean, I liked how you looked great in the series, but like I like the where did you film the interview part?
There is I don't remember what it's called. It's like a fantasy village up in near Knoxville.
Oh.
And they actually like have hobbit holes built in one part of the property, and these like elvish looking
cabins. You know who owns that? Is he used to LARP at like ETN.
No, it's not. I don't think it's that dude.
Oh, okay. He has one of those. I think he might have the one in Georgia.
He's got one near Chattanooga.
Okay, it's that.
Near Chattanooga.
It's in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They built this place primarily for nerd weddings.
Gotcha. I mean, there's money there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Think Sasquatch shows up there? Any
Not
encounters?
there, I don't think.
No.
Like the trail scenes in that episode, they took us across the road and they're like, okay, now go up the trails here. And the trail was literally called Yeti Trail. But it was like just trails cut through literally like this one little swath of woods that just happens to be in the area.
Did they want to go out to any of the areas with you into the research areas?
Originally, they told me they wanted to come down and do a follow-up with me and like talk to people that I talked to, but I never heard anything back from that after that.
You'll hear from them in like fucking a year and they'll be like, hey, remember? It's just the film industry.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be all right with that.
You'd be like, hey, we got a convention now.
Oh, they knew about the convention. They talked about wanting to come to the convention, actually.
Oh, that would have been great if they came.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. Good times. Convention, Wildman and CrypticCon. Tickets are on sale now on Eventbrite.
Yep.
And,
August 16th.
August 16th down in McMinnville, Tennessee. Come down, meet the team, meet all our awesome guests. Randy's been posting the guest list. We got an awesome lineup, speakers, awesome vendor hall. We've expanded the vendor hall.
Do you remember the vendor who came the first year who had all the Bigfoot portraits?
Yeah.
She messaged, actually she's coming to the event, but she's actually coming. She said that she saw the guest list and she's like, I always vend at these things. I never get to hear the guest, speakers. And she's like, your guest speakers list is too good.
Not
So
to
she's
go.
actually coming to listen to our guest speakers instead of vend.
Oh wow. Oh, that
Yeah.
makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I feel like a spoiled Sasquatch researcher since I've linked up with you, Randy. With just like I know all the people now. You did the time and it was all hard.
All the roughing it. Yeah,
Yeah, when it was all roughing it.
that's all good.
Well, fellas, that's our hour for the podcast here at 40 in Tennessee. Any closing words for the night?
None that I can think of.
I got nothing. It went way off from the Bell Witch.
We went into where we were comfortable. If you're still with us right now, thank you for listening. If you have any questions,
We'll try to get Dewey Edwards for the Bell Witch episode.
we got to do a Bell Witch with him, and then the Hopkinsville. I want to do Hopkinsville goblins with him. I know he just wrote a book about it too, so we should get him on. No, it was a good episode though. That was fun. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for listening. And our email at the end, if you have any questions, any topics you'd like us to talk about, or you want to send in your own encounters, please just message us. Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Awesome.
See y'all.